Thanks, Paulson. So I'm just sharing. Let me know if I'm audible and you guys can see the screen.
Yes, we can see and you're audible.
All right, great. So I'm just going to straight dive into the presentation. So the idea here is kind of to give insights to the young social entrepreneurs and to help them understand what could be their ways to get a startup going and how can they really turn it into a business. So the main idea of this presentation is uh, to kind of start from an idea and to make it a business. And for that, there are two certain things that they have to take care. That is business strategy and capital utilization. And the second important point that I would like to discuss is a pivot. We'll get into that subsequently. So when we talk about an idea is still not a business until we cross certain thresholds. And here you can clearly see what is the difference between an idea, a startup who just is kind of on the brink of beginning a new, let's say, setup, and a business which has an established product or a service line. When we are looking at an idea, there is a focus on development. And when you are talking about development, it could be regarding the product itself, the testing of that product, it could be research, it could be research on the development of a product, on the market, and you're also developing the team and you're focused on building a team. And all of this takes, let's say, effort, time, and it's unknown. And this is the most important phase. And as soon as there is a threshold where once all of these are identified, established, and working, you then transition as a company towards focusing on revenues, brand building, sustainability in terms of cash flows, standardization of operations. So in that way, you have now transitioned from just an idea to a real business. And that is the most difficult part, and that is where the make or break happens for most startups with just an idea. And there are 100 or 200 companies starting each and every day with certain idea, but only maybe 1 or 2% of them really get or end up being a business. And the reason for that is because of the way that they either have strategized themselves or have certainly used the capital in a certain way. Now that's what I'll quickly move to. So there are two very important points. What should we not do is what I will get into first. So you can see probably on the text on the right. So these are certain things that if you are starting with an idea, these are some of the questions if are being raised, you should know that these are not going to make you successful. And the main focus of any idea, making it into a business or making it sustainable, is asking the right questions. The basic always remains the vision, the mission, which is always in a way in each and every company's website. But more than that, it is really about the mission and the vision personally set by the founder or the co-founder, or let's say the building the group. So unless and until you know what you want to achieve, any idea will only remain an idea or will fail in due course of time, unless and until you know what you want to achieve. And you should know how you want to achieve that. So for example, if I say that you want to make the best smartphone, that could be your vision, that this is a smartphone that I want to create. But then the mission should be, what is it and how do you want to achieve it? Do you want to take the Xiaomi route to becoming the market leader, or do you want to take the Apple route to becoming the most desired on the market, even if you do not have a high market share? So your vision and mission have to be defined really well for any idea to become successful in the long run. And more than that, passion is something which is never defined as such, but it has to be there inside every entrepreneur, because without passion, it's certainly uh, poised to fail. And the reason is there will be ups and downs throughout the journey of the startup, but the only thing that will carry through is the passion and the motivation of why someone is going to carry on doing this business which he's doing. Once you have figured out the basic fundamentals of why you want to do the business, how you want to carry it out, then you start thinking more. And these are basically the questions, once you've answered them, becomes your long term strategies. And these are very basic questions, and I think I'm not going to go through them, but for sure, I'll give you a case study here where we can look at Nestle. Now, we all understand it's a giant right now, but when it was starting up, it took advantage of a very simple ingredient, which is baby milk. And the reason that today 85% of the cash flows come to Nestle only from baby milk is because of the high barrier of entry. They understand regulations. The regulations say that Nestle baby milk is a prescribed drug and can only be sold at chemist's location. You will not find it in kirana shops, online, offline, anywhere. Also, there is a certain license which is required, and there is no advertisement which you can show of baby milk in India. There are only two companies in this space. One is Abbott and the other is Nestle. And Nestle rules the roost just because there is a strategic advantage in terms of regulations, and that is the business strategy which they have followed. This is where their cash flow comes from really in the business. Just moving on then quickly to capital utilization. Now, each and every idea remains an idea as long as you cannot generate a cash flow or a business around it. And the only way of doing it is utilizing capital properly. Now, there are
Gordon do? Yeah.
hmm,
Gordon usually can never you, right? Mama,
is there a way to
mama.
mute?
Yeah, ये बदतमीजी मत करना
Thank you. So here we have to understand when a business starts, the idea has to sell. As long as there is some kind of a value, there is no point of doing the business, because you're not doing business for the sake of it, but for really putting a value where consumers or the end user is really getting something out of it. So you will see the very clear difference between cost versus value for the examples listed: Toyota, Skoda, BMW. They all have a same segment of cars which are luxury cars, but their prices vary variedly because of the value that they add. And it could be from the brand itself, it could be from their quality of engineering, it could be many other factors. But in the end, as long as the quality or let's say the value which is being presented to the consumer is something that they're willing to pay, the idea for sure will work. And the second part, which is very important to understand, especially for startups and not as much for established businesses, is raising capitals. Because generally what happens is raising capitals is very expensive, and either you are diluting your shareholdings, or else you are also puppet to sometimes shareholders expectations, which might be very difficult to understand if you are just starting, because you need really good growth to be able to live up to the shareholders expectations. There are certain milestones generally which have to be achieved if you want extra funding. So there are a lot of funding rounds, and hence if capital is not utilized properly, generally ideas crash and burn in the ground. So this is again one way, one example here which I've tried to kind of highlight, which is Zoho. It was a startup just 5-6 years back, and in 2010, I think it started in 2006 if I'm not wrong. In 2010, they already crossed the 100 million mark. And Zoho is just a business suite application, just like SAP, but it is catered towards small and medium enterprises. And their website itself says that they invest more in product development and customer support rather than in sales and marketing. And you can see very subtly what business strategies they are implementing to make themselves successful. And there is no venture capital which they have raised in their journey, which is the most important part. Although this is not something to be let's say looked at in a positive or a negative way, either way would be good. But businesses self-sustaining are more likely to be successful rather than ones which are always dependent on external funding. And now the second part of this is pivot. Now pivot is a very important way of any startup becoming a big business. Now it is not necessary that every business is pivot, but pivot is basically a change of direction. Now this change of direction could be because of multiple reasons which are listed. But the most important part is sustainability of the business itself and running of the idea. So it could be that your business has become unsustainable because of regulation changes. It could be that you could not survive the COVID situation and you are now looking for a new way out. So the most easy explanation for or an example of this could be the kitchens. So all diners which were hosting customers at their places have become cloud kitchens now, and they are only operating on a delivery model. So this is a small pivot example, but there are more. And one of the major examples is, I don't know how many of you know it, but YouTube has done a major pivot. So it was earlier a dating application which was based on video sharing, but after looking at the potential of becoming just a video share platform, it kind of did a pivot back in, I think it was 2000 or something, and by 2006 it was bought by Google. Today it is worth say 160 billion. You can see the difference that uh, a pivot can create, that they already had some idea about video based service, and but they could see a bigger potential into just having any online video being aired. And today you can see, I think no one has to be kind of given any idea on how YouTube functions, but I think they have crossed all expectations beyond that. Another very close to home example is Ola cabs. Now, Ola cabs did not start out as a cab application or a ride sharing. Rather, they had actually started out as trips. So they were a travel agency essentially. But when Bhavesh Agarwal and Ankit Bhati, they were the starters, co-founders. So they figured out that the more important aspect of serving clients was the cab to getting them to places. They pivoted from Ola trips and became Ola cabs. And today they've crossed the valuation of 5 billion. And in fact, now they have also gone into electric vehicles. So they're starting Ola Electric, and they have also started doing research on electric vehicles. So they have started their Ola Electric Institute as well. So there are a lot of things that they're doing. Now this is just an example, and you don't actually have to do it, but this is the kind of conclusion of all the things that I've said. So the key takeaways from for someone who's looking at this, I would say, is that we need to focus on what is your competitive advantage. It could be anything. So Amazon has supply chain as a competitive advantage. Nothing else works for Amazon but the supply chain, the massive amount of ease with which it can move goods, the one day delivery. All of that is what its core competency is. You can tomorrow start an e-commerce chain, but the only reason you cannot compete with Amazon is just because of the large supply chain strength that it has. Any algorithm which is developed in a certain, let's say, algo trading or in the stock market, if you have a good algorithm that gives you consistent results, that's a competitive advantage. If it's a daily need item, that itself is a competitive advantage, because it could be just a soap, that is being sold just for 5 rupees, but that would be a daily need item, and that is something which will sell no matter what. Of course, there are again a lot of competition in that segment. It could be regulations, certain, as we saw with baby milk, that there are certain regulations, and if you have been able to get through that, that is your competitive advantage. Or it could just simply be cost, that you are selling a product which is below everyone else. How you do that is up to you, but of course that could be a competitive advantage. So the focus should be something that makes you really competitive and others like a high barrier of entry. And the second is you have to utilize the proper capital, and of course have a self-sustaining business. A Tesla and a Amazon is who have survived tens of years without any profits being generated, is one example of survival amongst 200 which have failed. So the chances of you sustaining over a long period of time without generating profits is very, very slim. And of course, the point is, if you are following the money, maybe you might have to pivot at times, but you need to be careful, because it does not always work out. But for sure, if you understand the market well, then pivot is always a very easy way to keep sustaining your business. So yeah, that's all that I have to say right now, and I'm quite open to all the feedbacks and questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Anjan. That was very, very educative and informative. That shows the wealth of information and wealth of knowledge you have on startup and its associated dealings. That's amazing. Thanks for the deep sharing, and it was truly useful for all our audiences. I hope everyone in the audience benefited from your sharings and your presentation.